Hey guys, FirstinWeather here. Welcome to my 2017-2018 winter forecast. This is my second complete winter forecast, and I look forward to making a couple other winter forecasts at least before the start of the winter. So, without further ado, let's get started. So here are my main factors. Obviously, there are a couple factors that I have left out, and that's just simply because I do not think they have. I just don't think they have significance, any real significance for our winter in the United States. But there are a few these are the biggest factors in my opinion. Number one, of course, the La Nina. This winter, we definitely have higher chances of seeing a La Nina. We're also under a La Nina watch by the National Weather Service. Second is the PDO, which is also a big factor. Then we have the NAO, which is a moderate factor. Then we also have the QBO, and this factor has not been included in this forecast. It will be included in my final forecast. And finally, we have Siberian snow cover, which is also a pretty big factor, and this will be included in my next forecast, number 3. So, here's what I'm using for my winter forecast. I'll be using my own individual knowledge and analysis of various factors. So I'll be using what I've learned from the many years I've been studying weather and my gut instinct. I'll be using various weather models, and finally, I'll also be using analog years. Analog years are very important when it comes to making a winter forecast, and analog years are a big part of my forecast this year. So, let's start off first with the weak La Nina. We were actually expected to see neutral conditions, positive neutral conditions, and we went from positive to the negative neutral conditions, and now we're actually approaching the weak La Nina to maybe even moderate La Nina stage. This is a forecast from mid-September 2017, obviously, and as you can see, this yellow line is basically the mean of all the weather models, and these are all global weather models. And as you can see, this is December, January, and February right here. This yellow line is below the negative 0.5 Celsius mark, and that would indicate a weak La Nina. Again, neutral conditions are from negative 0.5 Celsius to positive 0.5 Celsius. If it goes above or below that, you're in either an El Nino or La Nina stage. And so as you can see here, it's definitely starting to look like we're going to see a weak La Nina this winter. And many other models are also showing this, and it's becoming increasingly likely that we're going to see a weak La Nina this winter. And this really has made me have to change my forecast this winter, because as you know, in my previous forecast I had below average temperatures for a large portion of the country, but due to this La Nina, this weak La Nina, I've certainly had to change a little bit of this forecast. Now, this is basically a bar graph that shows the probabilities of the different states of the waters west of South America. You have the La Nina, neutral conditions, and El Nino conditions. And as you can see right here, during the months of December, January, and February, we have high chances. The highest chance is to see a weak La Nina. Then the next highest is neutral conditions, and then extremely low is an El Nino. So an El Nino this winter is pretty much just completely out of the question. Neutral conditions, they're still possible, but right now it's looking very likely that we're going to see a weak La Nina winter. Now, the PDO. The PDO is also a humongous factor in determining a winter, and so the PDO is basically an area of waters, and scientists measure the temperature of those waters basically in the central and eastern Pacific. And so it's starting to look like that we're going to see a cool phase PDO this winter. And as you can see, in the month of September, we had a cool phase PDO. In the month of August, cool phase PDO. Month of July, cool phase PDO. And so it's looking like we're going to start to see the trend of a cool phase PDO develop, and that will also have big implications on our winter forecast. And so a cool phase PDO is basically where you have cold waters hugging the coast, and then in like a horseshoe shape, and then you have warm waters in this little area over here with cold waters hugging the coast. And I forgot to mention this, but a La Nina is when you have below average water temperatures west of South America. So you have cooler than average waters west of South America. And usually, not all the time, but sometimes when you see a La Nina, it helps to support the development of a cool phase PDO. And also, to build on that, some of the weather models that I've been looking at have also been suggesting the development of a cool phase PDO this winter. And so that's definitely something that will affect my winter forecast this year. Now, the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. The NAO is basically the water temperatures over here, where this blue color is right here. And so this is the Jamstec model. I do think it's overdoing it a little bit over here. I think this NAO is too negative. I think this winter we're going to see a slightly negative NAO. And a slightly negative NAO is when we have cooler than average temperatures over here. And so, again, it will be interesting to see how this interacts with the weak La Nina and the negative or cool phase PDO. And as you can see, the Jamstec model, it's indicating a pretty significant cool phase PDO with cold water hugging the coast, and you have this little area of warm water over here especially. And so the Jamstec model is indicating a weak La Nina, a cool phase PDO, and a negative North Atlantic Oscillation. And this is around what I think we'll see this winter. And again, ocean temperatures are a huge factor in winter forecasts. There are other factors that I'm not including this year, like this forecast, like the QBO and Siberian snow cover. Those will be included as we head into future forecasts. Now, so what does a La Nina winter typically bring? Well, a La Nina winter typically brings cooler than average temperatures in the northwestern portion of the country, wetter than average conditions on the western coast, and again in the southeast and Midwest and eastern portions of the United States. And finally, it usually brings warmer and drier conditions in the southeastern and southern portions of the country. Now, a PDO, a cool phase PDO. And again, here's an image of a PDO, a cool phase PDO. We have cold water hugging the coast and this warm water right here, kind of like a horseshoe shape. Well, a cool phase PDO really helps to support a trough in the west and a ridge in the east. So that would mean cooler than average temperatures in the western United States, and then above average temperatures in the eastern United States. And a warm phase PDO is essentially just the opposite, where you have a ridge in the west and a trough in the east. So again, it will be interesting to see how this interacts with the weak La Nina, the negative NAO, and that's where my individual knowledge of these factors comes in. And weather models and analog years can only do so much. You have to use your own individual analysis to see how these factors will interact with each other and how that will affect the winter for the United States. And finally, we have slightly negative NAO effects. Usually with an NAO, you have cold and snowy conditions in the eastern United States. But again, I don't think this North Atlantic oscillation will be too negative. So I think this is a little overpronounced. The jet stream will dip a little bit potentially when the NAO is slightly negative. So I don't think this trough will extend that far down. I think it might come to where these red arrows are, and probably even more north than that. So this again has influenced my forecast. But again, I do not think we're going to see a positive NAO this winter. I think we're going to see a slightly negative NAO this winter. And now we look at some of the weather models. This is the CFS weather model, and as you can see, it's predicting below average temperatures in the central and northwestern portions of the country, with above average temperatures in the eastern and southern portions of the country. Here is the NMME weather model, and typically with this model, I've noticed it's extremely biased when it comes to warm temperatures and above average temperatures. That is something that I've always noticed with this model, but it does paint a clear picture. It does help me. It does give me a good idea. So as you can see, it's really suggesting above average temperatures in the east and average temperatures in the west. So basically, these light shades are below average temperatures, since this model has a warm bias, and this dark orange right here is above average temperatures. So this model is saying below average in the west and above average in the east. And finally, we have the Jamstec model. This is really a really fun model to look at. It provides lots of interesting forecasts. And as you can see, it's predicting above average temperatures in the southeastern United States, the central southern United States, and the northeast, with below average temperatures in the Midwest and the northwest. And so here are my analog winters. I think 1950 to 1951, 54 to 55, 56 to 57, 64 to 65, 71 to 72, 2011 to 2012, and 27 and 2008. Those are my main analog winters. And with all those combined, the average of all those winters combined with the weak La Nina, the cool phase PDO, and the negative NAO, I think, not what I think, this is what the winters produced, the average of all those winters. And as you can see, generally below average temperatures in the northern Midwest, the northwestern portions of the Midwest, and generally above average temperatures in the southeastern portions of the country. And now if we switch to precipitation, again, wetter than average conditions here, below average precipitation here, below average precipitation in California, and above average precipitation in the northwestern portions of the country. So this is very interesting. This also went into my forecast, and so for my forecast, I'll be combining my individual knowledge, the weather models, and finally the analog meters. So without further wait, I know you guys have been waiting for a long time for really a complete winter forecast. I had one a couple weeks earlier, but this is really an updated forecast. There certainly have been some big changes to it, and so without further ado, here it is. This is my 2017-2018 winter forecast for temperatures, and as you can see, I am predicting below average temperatures in this blue area right here, with slightly below average temperatures in this light shaded blue over here, and this extends into the northernmost portions of the Northeast. And I think this is going to happen because the slightly negative NAO will try its best to bring this jet stream down a little bit in the northeastern portions of the country, but it really won't extend that far south, so this area might see slightly below average temperatures. But again, in the southeastern portions of the country, slightly above average temperatures, and then in this extreme southern portions of the country, in this orangish color, I think we're going to see above average temperatures, and again, in this white area, average temperatures. And again, this is for December 2017 and January and February 2018. Now, here is my precipitation forecast for the months of December through February 2017-2018 winter forecast for precipitation. As you can see, I think in this wide swath right here, we're going to see above average precipitation. In this light green, slightly above average precipitation. In this white area, average precipitation. In this light yellow area, slightly below average precipitation. And finally, in this orangish color, I think we're going to see above average excuse me, this should be below. My bad about that. This is a mistake right here. Apologies for not catching that. This orange area will be below average precipitation. Got a little mixed up here. This is not correct. It should be below. So again, below average precipitation, not above. Below average precipitation in the southern portions of the country, with slightly below average precipitation in the southwestern portions of the country and the southeast, and then above average precipitation in this wide area in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, and the northern central portions of the country. And this is again for December through February. Now my next slide is a snowfall forecast for 2017-2018. Again, I don't typically make these, so this will not be that accurate of a forecast. It just portrays what I think will be the general snowfall outlook for this winter. And again, one snowstorm, just one, can just completely mess up your forecast. For example, in Richmond, Virginia, our average snowfall is about 10.5 inches a winter, right? And so if we see no snow the entire winter is warm and dry, but then for just 1 week we see an Arctic outbreak and a storm right to the coast, and we get 20 inches of snow. That's double our seasonal average, even though I predicted below average snowfall and above average temperatures and below average precipitation. So if you get lucky, just one storm can completely mess up my forecast. So these precipitation and temperature forecasts and snowfall forecasts are all just based on what I think the overall pattern this winter will be like. So here it is. This is my snowfall forecast, and one note is that this forecast does not account for areas that see no snowfall on average each year. And so I feel like this wide area of blue right here is going to see above average snowfall. Then this area in light blue is going to see slightly above average snowfall. This area in white, average snowfall. This area in light yellow, yellowish color, slightly below average snowfall. And finally, this area in orange will see below average snowfall. This is my forecast for this winter. I'll definitely be updating it as we head into forecast number 3 and forecast number 4. Those forecasts will be more accurate, and I'll have a higher confidence level. Right now, I would say my confidence level is around 70%. Though that confidence level will definitely be increasing as we head closer to the winter. I hope you like this forecast. My next forecast number 3, will come out sometime in early November, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you can. It would be greatly appreciated if you could leave a comment, give me some constructive criticism, and like this video. Thank you. I hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.